All right,
Did you
yo.
think?
All right, so do you guys want to get into Legends Arceus? What are we calling that new one? Now I will say Legends from the gameplay footage I saw here, Legends is looking real rough. It's looking real rough. I know it's coming out in a year from now, but it's looking rough. Like the frame rates of the Pokemon was looking like 15 frames. But we're gonna take a look at that. All right, so let's get into Legends. What do you guys think about Legends? Let's go into the first trailer. So I guess we'll watch it over again.
This is a tale from a long, long time
So we
ago,
got voice acting.
when the Sinnoh region was still only a vast wilderness.
And interestingly enough, it's based on Sinnoh. They picked the Sinnoh region to do this with, which is very, very interesting.
A certain village bustled with the comings and goings of people.
Alright, and then in this concept art, you
certain
see a bunch of
village
people, but
bustled-
I don't think I saw a single NPC in the actual game, which is interesting. I don't remember seeing any.
With the comings and goings of people.
We'll go through it.
While in
Yeah, the Pokeballs
and
look weird, eh?
only a
The Pokeballs look different. So remember, this is an old school Pokeball. So this actually brings in a lot of history. With because it kind of feels like all the Pokemon games are kind of in the same like 10 years of each other, more or less. But this looks like it's going way back into the past. So this is probably like a primal Pokeball. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
vast wilderness. A certain village bustled with the comings and goings of people. While in the mountains and seas, Pokemon.
Alright, so yeah, Piplup is the starter of the. Well, I guess technically not the starter of this Sinnoh because it's in the past, right?
Roamed as they pleased.
So Piplup's just like any other water type. Very interesting. Legends will be a good game if they breathe life into the wild area. Yeah, it absolutely has the potential to be a great game for sure. Alright, so it pulls back. What? Pulls back, you see Mount Coronet. Graphically it looks interesting. You know, we got some actual grass here on the beach. Got some Piplup. You know, it definitely does look rough for sure. Here it looks a little bit better. You really wish they did Pokemon Legends in Unova so we can see the original dragon for one. What do you think about the crusty textures? Yeah, this game needs hella polish, right? Like, I know it's not coming out for another year, but it needs hella polish. Yeah, so here's the village, and there's no people here. Even though the concept art showed a bunch of people. Yeah, so it looks to be massive. Absolutely massive. So I wonder if it's just if it's the Sinnoh region, but like in Breath of the Wild style. Like what does that mean, right? But I wonder if we'll see. I don't know. Like there won't be any of the traditional towns that we saw in Diamond and Pearl because they don't exist yet. But this Gen 4 love, I gotta say, Gen 4 is one of my favorite, is my favorite region, so insanely excited that Gen 4 is getting so much incredible love. Oh, we got the Dawn's ancestor, Dawn's great grandma, looking pretty interesting. We got dodge rolling in Pokemon. I repeat, dodge rolling in Pokemon. What? Insane. Insane. So that's interesting. So I guess the trainer can be attacked if there's a dodge roll. I'm assuming you can dodge Pokemon. I'm assuming that's why that's there. So the trainer has health for sure. You can crouch in the grass, similar to Breath of the Wild. And it looks like you have to actually sneak up on the Pokemon. And then Yeah, you can aim the Pokeball, throw the Pokeball. So that's how you catch things. So you don't need to outright battle the Pokemon and weaken them to catch them. You can surprise attack them, and maybe you get a capture bonus for sneaking up on the Pokemon. Maybe. Yeah, and it goes in the Pokeball, and then I don't know if you have to go and retrieve the Pokeball. I don't know. I don't know. Right? Meteor Johnson with the 5. Thank you, Meteor. Maybe they went back in time so they wouldn't have to develop models for all the towns, reduce time for production. Still hyped for the new animations. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, why did they take this approach? There's so many questions, so little answers. Okay, so it rolls, and it looks like the Pokeball bounces. Bounces instead of like wiggling, it actually bounces in the air, which is interesting. And then when it fully captures the Pokemon, it looks like the Pokeball disappears. So, and we got Pokemon actually running up and physically attacking each other, which is insane. This hasn't been a thing since Pokemon Battle Revolution in 2006. So it's been what, like 15 years? And I guess you have like some spin-off titles that do it. Like that spin-off Pokemon mobile game with the Chinese mobile game, but so that's what, a Rhyhorn and a Riolu. And you got massive open fields. I'm assuming you can go anywhere in this area and run around and catch Pokemon. Very interesting. Yeah, see, here's where the frame rates, here's what I was talking about, the frame rates. Look at this Chingling. This Chingling's like 10 FPS. So, right, they need hella polish, like an insane amount of polish. So when you're seeing up on this Chingling, the Chingling is like 10 FPS. Yeah. So they need a lot of work. They need to bump that up to at least 30. Preferably 60. But right now it's sitting at around 10 frames. Not good. Spider-Man with another 5. What's up? Thank you, Spider-Man. Legends Arceus having proper size scaling is nice at least. Yeah. I'm assuming the scale will be proper in this game. Unlike the remakes won't have proper scale. Unfortunate, disappointing, but this game will. Most likely. You got Wild Chimchar, you got Wild Raptor, Lucario. You got Voodoo with the 10 FPS. Pikachu. I wonder how the draw distance is as well. Like that can make and break this game. If you're running around and you don't see any Pokemon and they're just popping in all over the place, that'll feel really bad. So they would definitely have to find a way to address that. Like if it's like the wild area, but like a giant massive open world game, that'll feel really bad. Just having the models pop in and out from such a close distance. So I don't know if they address that in this. We'll have to keep watching here. We got Wiggly Fungus with a 14.99. Thank you so much, Wiggly. Thank you so much. Wiggly says, I have a theory. This might be better just because it's not rushed. Sword and Shield needed to get out just to bring new Pokemon and keep hype, aka more merch. So they needed to be rushed to the shelves, like much like Go. Yeah, so again, you know, they still have a year. I don't know how long they've been working on this. Have they been working on this since, you know, I don't know. There's so many questions, right? But yeah, I don't think it'll be rushed. But maybe, I don't know. Right now it needs a lot of polish. We'll see what they do in a year's time. But for sure, if it's not rushed, if it's a polished game, a polished experience, then yeah, that'd be great. Alright, so yeah, we got some walking. Very interesting. I wonder why they picked these 3 starters. So we got a Gen 2 starter, a Gen 7 starter, and then a Gen 5. Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why they picked these 3. And where are they? They're in like some kind of office, and you got books, and you got writing. So they have you know, like a books and writing, so it can't be that far into the past, right? It can't be that far into the past. So maybe we're talking maybe like 50 years in the past. And they got a flag there. I'm not sure what that means, but Takari Barbara with the $2. Thank you. Oshawot's mouth is modeled. Really? Ah, yes, it is. I believe it is actually. Oshawa's mouth is modeled. So it's looking like the models might receive substantive upgrades. Because Let's Go Pikachu, the Pikachu had a mouth model. It wasn't just a texture. And so seeing Oshawott receive that kind of attention to detail, that kind of love, it's a starter in this game as well. So I don't know if it's receiving this amount of attention because it's a starter, or if because they're finally touching up the models, as they should. So interesting, very, very, very interesting. We got Cat Ack with the $5. Thank you, my dude. Legends opens the door for full Legends series specific to each region. Yeah, you could do a Legends game for each game. Insane. And Cat is hopeful for the open world aspect. Yeah, this again opens up an insane amount of doors here. The sky is literally the limit for the Pokemon series. It's incredible. All right. Yeah, so it's a region based on Sinnoh with no Sinnoh starters. Very interesting. And it's based around Arceus, which is also very interesting. And the theme is nice and clean, I gotta say. That's really clean. So what does that mean from a narrative perspective? You know, what's the story they're trying to tell here? What are they trying to say? Arceus, the god of all Pokemon. And maybe that's why they went with Sinnoh. Because of Arceus, maybe. Maybe they'll tell a interesting origin story of all Pokemon. I don't know. You know, they could be a very grand narrative this time around. They could tell an insanely incredible story. Christine B with the 5. Thank you, Christine. So since this is the pastime, a bike would seem really out of place, so they would have to have riding Pokemon, right? That's a very interesting point. Yeah, the bike would be very out of place indeed. So yeah, I think there'll be riding Pokemon. For sure. So we'll go to the second part for Legends.
The events of this game unfold in the Sinnoh of old. In this time, too, Mount Coronet towers over the center of the region.
Yeah, so Sinnoh of old in the past.
Pokemon live freely in the wild here, but the harsh environments... As for these 3 Pokemon, Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott, it seems they were brought to Sinnoh by a certain professor who encountered them while traveling around various regions.
Brought to Sinnoh by a certain professor, and they don't name the professor. So it makes it sound like it's a familiar professor, which maybe, like, a lot of the professors are really old, right? So it depends how far back in the past they're going. So maybe it could be like a young Professor Oak. You know, Professor Oak's like 20 years old. If it's only like 40 years in the past or whatever. Who knows? I really don't know.
You'll set off on your adventure after receiving a first partner Pokemon of your own from this professor.
So they still have the same kind of starter system. You know, you get a fire, grass, water from the professor. They still have that intact, which is interesting.
With the village as your base, you'll venture out to the different...
Okay, so the village is the base, so it's the hometown.
...different corners of the region on your quest to create Sinnoh's very first Pokedex.
And you're creating the Pokedex, which is very interesting. So you won't have a Pokedex, you're creating it. Very interesting.
Even in this era, wild Pokemon can be caught with Pokeballs. You can also...
Okay, so here we get to the battle system. So it's still turn-based, I think. And we got levels. So your Pokemon level up like usual. The PP system is still intact, which is interesting. There's still PP, and it looks like it's the exact same as in the regular games. So this is Gallade's attacks, right? That's a wild Garchomp?
Engage in Pokemon battles alongside
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so slash, full swipe, close combat, aerial release, and you're fighting a wild Garchomp.
your Pokemon out.
And it doesn't show the wild Pokemon's level, which is interesting. What if you're emulating Pokemon Legends on Yuzu and bump up the resolution? That would be super cool.
Sharpen your skills for both catching and battling Pokemon,
Because it looks turn-based.
and strive to complete your Pokedex.
I don't know. The UI, yeah, the UI looks good. Let's look at that again. I like the UI too. I think the UI looks way better than like what they did with Sword and Shield.
Sharpen your skills for both catching and battling Pokemon,
I like the UI.
and strive to complete your Pokedex. Now for the mythical Pokemon that graces the game's title and story, Arceus. According to legend, Arceus shaped all there is in this world.
Yo.
But how is this Pokemon connected to your journey? The answer to this question.
And a lot of the Pokemon seen here is just Pokemon from Sinnoh. Like the only Pokemon I believe outside of Sinnoh are the starters, interestingly enough. So I wonder what that means. Meteor says, I anticipate Final Fantasy 12 or 13 type of ATB gameplay, but it looks turn-based, ATM. What does, okay, so ATB equals active time battle. Think like Final Fantasy 7. It doesn't look like Final Fantasy 7 combat. It looks turn-based to me. It doesn't look like ATB. How would that even work? Because you need to move as the Pokemon and the trainer? I don't even know how that would work in this game. And that was close combat. It's just crazy to me that the Pokemon are running up and attacking each other like they did in Pokemon Battle Revolution like 15 years ago or whatever. Insane. Very exciting. Yeah, and then you can see the whole region, and again, you can't see any Pokemon. So it'll feel really bad to run around empty fields and then just have Pokemon kind of pop up into existence in front of your face. That'll feel really bad. You know, I don't see any like Starlies flying in the distance or anything like that. You know, some stuff looks a little rough, but you know, it comes out in a year. Lots of time for polish. Okay, yeah, worldwide, early 2022, which is interesting because Pokemon titles always release late in the year, around like November, October-ish. So early 2020, we're looking at like a March release for a Pokemon game, like a main. I guess this is now considered a main core Pokemon title. So that's very odd. They're shattering so many conventions. I'm just mind blown. Just mind blown. Really, really am. It will get delayed. Yeah, it might get delayed. Yeah, this type of game, since it's not one of the reasons why Pokemon games cannot be delayed, is because a new Pokemon game, a new Pokemon generation always features new Pokemon. So the game's always spearheaded like the merchandise, the anime, movies or whatever. So, but going this style, there's not any new Pokemon, there's not any really new merchandise that they would have to push out, so it's not as tied down as your typical Pokemon game. Same with the remakes, you know? So they could delay all that stuff. And like Gen 9, what's happening with Gen 9? Like if they're working on crazy stuff like this, there's no time for a Gen 9. So, insane. So many questions. So little answers. You know, regardless of what the games look like, just the implications of the fact that these games exist in the way that they do is insane. Yeah, like what Alex said. Are they even doing gens anymore? Are they shattering that convention as well? Which is what I would prefer. They focus on a pool of Pokemon and they just make the Pokemon themselves better. Like what we saw with the Oshawott model being slightly updated with the mouth. But I don't know, you guys. Seeing how Game Freak struggled so hard with just the wild area and Sword and Shield, and now they're going full blown Breath of the Wild. I don't know. I don't know how that will turn out. Like right now, it needs a lot of work, as you can tell. So, but I appreciate the ambition. I appreciate the risks. There's definitely some inherent risk with doing this. Not as much because. Oh, sorry, one sec. Not as much risk because it looks like they'll be developing the main normal game side by side with these types of games. That seems like what they'll be doing in the future. So not like insanely risky, but still.
While in the mountains and seas, Pokemon roamed as they pleased.
The frame rate was already tanking. The draw distance already looks super small again. In that wide shot, there's nothing in the field. Yeah, the frame rate was looking really bad. I mean, even the Pokemon in the wild area at least hit 30 FPS, right? It's looking like the Pokemon in here are hitting like 10 FPS. It's looking rough. Rough. So if it just plays badly, you know, it's not good. And like this shot here looks real jarring. The grass looks super weird. Looks super weird. Looks like the grass is drawn on. Yeah, like when you get wide shots like this where you see no Pokemon, that's actually very concerning. Because you would hope to see like Starlies or Straptors flying in the distance, right? Again, maybe it's a early beta development footage, but still. Seeing the Shinx kind of not react to its brother being forcefully detained and captured and not reacting and just kind of aimlessly wandering around like what we saw in Sword and Shield's interesting. I don't know. Like when you do stuff in Breath of the Wild, the NPCs react, right? But it looks like the Pokemon will just only react to seeing the trainer again, which would be a bit jarring. Okay, hold on. We got some Bronzongs in the back. So this render distance, you can see this or not Bronzong, Bronzor. I think called a Bronzor. I think it's called Bronzor. You can see it a decent distance away, at least compared to Sword and Shield. Like Sword and Shield's range is probably around here, but this looks a bit farther. Yeah, we got some decently muddy-ish textures here. Could use some touch-ups. Got some Baidu. This looks a bit better. The lighting looks nice. Got Starlies walking around. Okay, so okay, this is actually very interesting. So you have Starlies just walking around. When Starly, I believe Starly's like running animations would never have it flying. So it looks like the Pokemon, it'll be very similar to Pokemon Snap. The Pokemon will have new animations. So it won't be, in that respect, it won't be exactly like the wild area. I believe Starly flies when it runs. Yeah, Starly flies. So there's new animations. New high quality animations. We've already seen new animations. And this game doesn't come out for another year. That's more than you can say about Sword and Shield. Yeah, new animations. Very exciting. You can't wait for the HD texture pack for the fans gonna make. Yeah, there's gonna be some epic modding for this game. Epic modding. Very excited for the modding. I wonder if we'll be able to mod the remake as well. The Diamond Pearl remix. Check the tree? Yeah, let's check the tree. Alright, so there's the tree. It's reminds me of those like old school PC games. For the trees. But a step up. Certainly a step up from the wild area trees, for sure. For sure. The trainer models look weird to you. No, they look okay. They're very similar to Sword and Shield. They look okay. It doesn't look like they blink or have any facial expressions yet. Yeah, no, they're very they don't have any animations. It seems they don't blink or anything. It's just like a default face, but that'll be touched up for sure. All right, I think that's everything, eh? Maybe we can quickly go over some of the other stuff if you guys want. I'm really excited to have Arceus kind of in the spotlight like this. Very excited. And maybe we'll learn more about Arceus and like what its whole deal is. Like it's so fast it disappears kind of thing. That's the effect they're going for. Yeah, and then it just reappears, and then how does it go back? It just jumps back. Oh, it slides back from the impact. No, this looks fine. This looks fine. It's like an extreme speed effect, and then it hits the Pokemon, and then it bounces back from the impact. Looks fine. It's actually better than the way they did it in PBR, where the Pokemon would hit the other Pokemon, and then they would just your Pokemon would just stand in front of the other Pokemon, and that looked really weird. So that actually looks better than what they did in PBR, which is hype. That's hype. Yeah, even when the trainer's running here, the trainer's looking like 20 FPS. Lots of work. What do you think of the prospect of this game being similar to Breath of the Wild? It's very exciting. It's kind of what people always wanted, right? And they're actually going for it. You gonna complain for a living about this game too? You know it. You already know. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's fine. Goes up, kicks the raptor in his mouth with a young close combat, and then gets blasted back. And this looks like a new animation too, like a recoil animation, which is huge, huge, insane. Garchomp smacks Lucario in the face. Where? You know, you guys are trolling. I've never seen Garchomp doesn't fight Lucario. That's not Lucario. That's Gallade. I don't know why you guys are saying this is Lucario. And so why is there no UI here? And I guess yeah, the Pokemon do just slide. Like, let's see the Garchomp. It didn't actually run, but Garchomp does. Ooh. I don't know, yeah, Garchomp's literally just sliding on the ground. Ooh. I mean, it's cool that he's going up and physically attacking, but he's literally sliding on the floor, which is obviously very jarring. Like, he does his attack animation over here, and then he just slides towards the Gallade. They have running animations, so I don't know why they would need to do that, but I don't know. Alright, well, I guess I'll probably head out and I'll get working on some videos so I can get my more concise and organized thoughts out to you guys, and maybe if I find anything else interesting or any other theories or whatever. So yeah, but overall excited, optimistic, way more optimistic for the future Pokemon than I have been for quite a long time. So it's good times ahead for sure, at the very least. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.